What's up, everybody? What is happening? I wanted to share a bonus training with you today that I think is going to be really, really good for all of you that watch this. So I just want to check for those that are, the few that are alive, since I didn't announce this, I just kind of did this off the cuff. And I wanted to get it out there. I want to make sure that you can hear me, you can see me, all of those wonderful things. It's warm here this evening, so I'm a little flustered in the cheeks. And the air conditioning is not working, so I'm just gonna have to sweat it out. I'm just gonna have to sweat it out. So I wanted to go through. I've never done a training like this, so you're gonna really enjoy this. How to crush your online launch. I have done maybe, I guess myself, I don't know, at least $10 million worth of revenue. That didn't come out right. $10 million of revenue in different online launches. I've probably planned at least a couple $100 million of online launches. And today I want to share with you really just the framework that I've used. And there's nothing necessarily groundbreaking here, in my opinion. Every 6-figure, 7-figure launch that I've done, it's just doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that is launches, right? That's really what it comes down to. Is you do one, you see what worked, you see what didn't work, you do a little better, you do a little better. And just like, I've shared this story so many times. One of my mentors, it was probably about 3 years ago, almost maybe even to the month, and or maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I guess. And he said, Scott, I didn't make money in the innovation. I made money in the repetition. And that's what launches are all about. The first one you do, no one might sign up, but as you go forward into the future, you're going to get better and better and better at them. So today I'm going to share with you my process for launching, how it all works, and hopefully you can learn a few things from this. So, I want to start off with, why should you launch, right? And so I'm a massive believer of having an evergreen business, right? A business that continually allows us to generate revenue, generate profitability, and increase the size of our audience. So why should you do a launch? Well, it's a few reasons, and I'm going to also tell you when not to. First off is when you have a new product, right? The easiest way to know if something's going to work is to be able to launch it out, to be able to put it out there. And so, it's a great time to be able to launch something when you know you have a new product, it's a new angle in the marketplace, and you want to be able to see how it works. The second reason is to increase the lifetime value of your leads, right? If you have 1,000 leads, generally somewhere between 10 to 30 of them are going to be able to buy when they come in the door. And now you're going to have the ability to increase the number of people that are buying, which of course increases how much revenue you're generating per lead, revenue per lead, every single time that you launch, right? Just because someone didn't buy it today doesn't mean that they're not going to buy it in 90 days or even a year from now. Next is to be able to test a new funnel. Anytime that you have at any level of an audience, and I want to be able to test a new funnel, I want to be able to go out to the warmest audience to see how it works, to see how they resonate with it, if they resonated with it, or if there were issues, technology issues. And of course, your current audience is going to forgive you a lot faster than somebody that don't know you, right? A cold audience. And then of course, the last is the cash injection, right? So one of the biggest elements of launches and how they work for me is this line right here is the evergreen growth, right? So most growth that happens in a linear fashion. It might end up being the hockey stick curve over time, but what a launch does, it allows us to have these larger months of revenue, which then we can put back into growth, or of course we can take out and put into investments or whatever it might be. And so what we're able to do is when we combine evergreen with live launching, and I believe that you should do both, we're able to increase this curve more quickly, as well as put more revenue in the bank for the size of your audience. And so the problem comes, the time where you should not launch, is people get on this addictive pattern of launching. And so what happens is, imagine if I could just erase for a moment this baseline, this one line that's down here. And what ends up happening is that they just have these high months and then these low months, high, low, high, low, high, low, high, low, okay? And so what we want to do is get to a place where we have a considerable sustainable growth each month, okay, even as a baseline, while then utilizing launches to be able to generate more revenue from our current leads, to be able to test new funnels, to be able to launch new products, so that over time we're adding more money to the bank so that we can either grow more quickly or we can take that money out and we increase our profit margin by being able to do this, okay? So this is what we want to do. We don't want the up and down, because the problem is it's going to be like a roller coaster, and it's going to be really difficult to be able to actually grow a sustainable business. And you're always going to be on this launch cycle, right? So you go out and launch, then you got to deliver, then you got to launch, then you got to deliver, and you may be able to make money that way, but you're going to burn out during that time. And so we want to have this, this is much more of the responsible, just from a health perspective, responsible way to be able to grow. Okay? So now in terms of structuring your launch, so we're going to talk about 7 core things today. We're going to talk about the hype phase, or the contextualization phase of the launch. We're going to talk about the event promotion. We're going to talk about the actual content phase when you're delivering the content. We're going to talk about the sale phase, the downsell phase, the nurturing phase, and the evergreen phase. Okay, so there's essentially 7 phases in any launch that you're going to have. And the better you get all of them to work, the easier it is to be able to actually generate more sales and be able to generate more sales over and over and over again. All right, so we're going to start with, and of course I'm going through this, I want to get this to you as quickly as possible, so I'm not doing any fluff or anything like that. Very direct, very specific. As well, if you're listening to this, my belief, or sorry, rather, my context is that you either looked at my 5-day marketing and sales workshop, or you own the Relevancy, Omnipresence, Intimacy course. If you don't have that, either go buy one of those so that this all makes sense. Because if not, you're going to be lost, and I'm not doing that contextualization of sharing with you a lot of my frameworks and methodologies already. And of course, you can also buy my book, The Nuclear Effect, if you want a cheaper version of either of those as an overview, okay? So in the building and hype phase, what we are trying to do is contextualize. So think about this. We are always, as business owners, as marketers, being able to mediate attention. And our job is to be able to transfer attention that's upon us to whatever it is that we're launching. That's what happens when we're in a launching phase. And so what I found is there are essentially 8 different content types out of the 13 that I talk about that are best at being able to contextualize an idea, a concept, or something that you're going to essentially launch. So, and I'm going to talk about how long you should be talking about these things, but pretty much in this order, okay? So pretty much in this order, we're wanting to talk about these 8 types, right? So pain and problem, these are pretty much self-explanatory. Proof is testimonials, case studies, lifestyle, what type of lifestyle you're living, what you expect, belief systems, right? Your personal belief systems. I believe all entrepreneurs should have 7-figure businesses. Ask, hey, do you want this thing, right? You might see them from me all the time. Hey, I wrote this blog post, do you want it? An invite. Hey, on August the 10th, I'm going to be doing a 5-day challenge on blank, okay? So building these content types, what we're essentially doing before the launch happens, before the event happens, whether it's a webinar you're doing or a challenge you're doing or whatever it might be, we're wanting to create 14 to 28 days of organic hype, all right? So I'm talking your podcast, I'm talking your email list, I'm talking your Facebook group, your Instagram, your regular Facebook, anywhere that doesn't cost any money. 14 to 28 days beforehand, I'm wanting to utilize those content types that I just shared with you. On paid, all right, so if you're utilizing my omnipresent strategy, we want to go with a content-focused approach, all right? So not call to actions, right? So no call to actions. For 7 to 14 days before, we want to be putting, basically we want to be taking over their news feed and recontextualizing them, because they know you for whatever it is, all right? So maybe you're selling a health product. Well, they know that you're a health guy or a health girl, right? Well, now we want to really focus in that attention on this specific thing, right? The specific thing that you're going to be talking about, that you are going to be talking about. And so we want to do this with paid omnipresence. Now, in my ROI course, in my Relevancy, Omnipresence, Intimacy course, I have, of course, how to take care of omnipresence, utilizing reach campaigns and Facebook and YouTube and all the different types of platforms that you want to here from a paid perspective. Now, if you're using partners, podcasts, webinars, joint ventures, affiliates, you want to increase this time span, okay? So if you're going to have a launch in September and you're going to be on a big podcast, make sure the podcast is in August so that there's enough time for that podcast to be heard by enough listeners and then be able to come in through your organic and then paid platforms, right? So that's what we want to do here. We want to ensure that we're adding in organic, paid, and partner traffic for your actual launch, and how much time is in between each. Okay, now that's beforehand, right? So that's beforehand. So we're not pitching anything at that time, right? We're just giving free content. We're building really goodwill. Okay, and so what we want to do anytime that we're promoting anything, we're talking about anything, we want to give so much that we are essentially creating the moral gap. All right, so the moral gap, I think Mark Manson may have created this, talked about this in his books first. But the moral gap is essentially when somebody does something for you, you feel obliged to be able to return the favor. Well, being able to essentially online, we're trying to increase the gap that's there so that somebody's like, okay, you know what? I've gotten so much value from this person, I'm going to pay attention. So that's what we're trying to do in the contextualization phase, the hype phase, before we actually do a launch. And then we want to start doing the promotion of the event, right? So the promotion of the event can be a challenge or a paid workshop. It could be a webinar, it could be a video series, it could be a book or maybe a content series over a number of days. It doesn't necessarily matter what it is. It really comes down to what's going to facilitate your potential customer the best to be able to bring them to the point of being able to say, yes, I want to work with this person, okay? So once we understand which version we want, again, if you have the ROI course, we have how to do this, not this soon, but these three, as of this video being recorded on August, I believe the 8th is today, these, how to do it inside the actual ROI course. And in September, I am, after launching my book successfully, helping a lot of other books launch successfully, I will have, of course, how to do a book or content launch in there in terms of the scripts and templates and those types of things. Now, promotion of the event, all right? So how do you get people to register? We want to have a landing page and a thank you page, all right? So we want to take them off of Facebook, off of your group, off of wherever you're promoting, and we want to put them onto a landing page and then a thank you page. And on the thank you page, we have a video. We have the ability to get them into the Facebook group, right? So we always want, when we're doing a launch like this, we want to create a Facebook group for either the launch or bring them into our regular group, okay? We want people to feel the momentum. We want people to feel the connection. It's all about that. You know, in day 3 of my workshop, I talk about intimacy. We want to create that there, okay? All right, so then from there, until the event, until the webinar, until the challenge, at least one email or one post per day in the group that is now based upon, hey, you're here, look at this cool piece of content. Hey, this is what I'm excited to talk about when we're on this webinar. Hey, on day 3 of the challenge, I'm going to be diving deep into this. Okay, so you want to get that person even more hyped and more contextualized. I'm like, wow, what am I going to learn? From there, we want to reinforce why someone needs to show up. People have the ability to do a lot of things. We're trying to get them to focus their attention for the specific time on you. So being able to ensure that they understand the purpose of being there, the purpose of actually taking their attention, their awareness, really, really, really important. And the CTA in this case is always going to be invite your friends, make sure you're showing up in the group, make sure you're seeing the emails, okay? So essentially you're saying, hey, listen to me because what I have to say is going to be important. Let me just get a quick bit of water here. Okay. So, promotional event, traffic and timeline. All right, so so think about this. You're doing the hype for what's going to be for, let's say, 2 weeks. Then we want 7 to 10 days on organic. Okay, so you want to be talking about whether it's IG stories, Instagram, Facebook, your email list, your text list, your messenger list, whatever it might be. We want to be talking 7 to 10 days, 2 times per day, okay? Now, the best way to do this, piece of value, and then piece of, well, essentially, at the end of the day, all those pieces of content that I gave you a minute ago, the 8 pieces, you're going to be just recycling them and having them there, but now with a call to action to actually sign up for the event, right? For the challenge or for the webinar. On paid, we want to have 5 to 10 ads. These are all conversion ads. So every single one of these ads, this is not omnipresence. This is register right now. Push the link. Let's get you registered. We want 5 to 10 ads. You're retargeting small group of people. My context here is that you're retargeting your warm audience. You're not going to cold audience. You can, but that's not what I'm suggesting you necessarily do here. We want the timeline to be a little bit smaller, okay? We want the timeline to be a little bit smaller. Reason being, if you have a small audience, you're going to hit the number of people that you can actually target, and your ad cost is going to skyrocket. So we want to hit them hard, we want to hit them fast, and we want to get the registrations. And then, of course, if you're doing a partnership, so you might be doing a partnership where they have you on their podcast and then they're emailing for you. You do not want to have any more than 7 days out. So their first, let's say their emails start on Tuesday and your event would start on the following Monday. That is the longest period you would want. Even down to 4 days is better, okay? You got to remember, if someone's sending an email for you or doing a swipe up for you or a post on Instagram, you have their attention and then it's gone. So you need to get their attention quickly, and then you need to be able to mediate that towards a piece of value so that that person trusts you, okay? So that's organic, paid, partner. All right, now, during the event, your webinar started, your challenge has started, your whatever it might be. I want 2 to 3 emails a day on the Facebook group or social media, 2 to 4 times a day, all right? I want them to be able to show up. I want them to know the value. I want them to see the highlights. I want them to see the replay. I want them to be able to actually consume the information and have different angles, right? So if you send 4 emails in a day, one might have a case study of why it's so important. One might be 20 minutes beforehand, before the actual live stream. One might be right after on the highlights, right? The other one might be, hey, this is what we're going to be going into tomorrow. We want to be able to use as much as possible. And then on top of it, we want to be showing our authority, our proof, asking them questions. What did they think of it? What, show your notes. We want to be reinforcing the methodology in which we're teaching. And we, of course, want to show them the lifestyle, what we expect of life, right? So we want to always be inspiring to the people that are buying from us. Okay, so that's during the event communication. Now remember, it doesn't matter. And again, if you have the Relevance, the Omnipresence, Intimacy course, I go through this. If you are in the workshop on day 1, 2, 3, on day 3, I briefly go through this. When you're bringing someone through a webinar, when you're bringing someone through a book, when you're bringing through someone on a challenge, you're bringing them through their pain, you're showing them the opportunity and vision, you're sharing with them the gap and then the commitment. Now your content will go around this. You always want to be valuable. You just don't want to be there being like, this is your pain. They need to know why that's their pain. They need to know how that's their pain. They need to know what the methodology to be able to even take care of this is, right? But overall, you're bringing someone's mindset from understanding to action, right? Understanding to action. And that's really that 4-step process. Across the board, that's always going to be the process, okay? Now, you've done the event, right? The event is done. You've pitched on the event. Now what happens? Well, we want to go into a 5 to 10 day sales sequence. Now this 5 to 10 day sales sequence can go to email. It can be an application. It can be for a sale. Doesn't matter what you're selling. It's always going to be about the same. Recently for the workshop, I brought people to an intake form. It was pretty much the same. Everything is always going to be 5 to 10 days. On organic, we're going to post about it twice a day. 50%, 1 out of 2 posts, one's going to be a call to action, one's going to be value, okay? Now, we're in this time, we're going to be focusing solely on these types of content. Proof, case studies, testimonials, solution, here's how I can actually help you. Objection, hey, here's the 3 things that most people say right now where you are. Vision, hey, here's what life is going to be like 90 days from now. Authority, here's how I've done it, and here's the 5 things I've learned from doing it. In this time, and I should actually just add one more, which is just overall value. You got to remember, it's not, your email shouldn't be, hey, listen, just go buy this now. The email should be 7 ways I have helped blank do blank, and then show the value so the person's there like, oh, you know what? I didn't know 4 of those 7 things. This person might actually have something that I can learn from. Okay, so that's on an organic perspective. On paid, kind of similar, 10 to 20 ads, 50% have call to action, 50% are value-based, right? We don't want every ad that they're seeing in this 5 to 10 day period because we're doing an accelerated retargeting ad set. So they're going to see all of our ads, right? They're going to see us everywhere. We don't want every single ad just to be a call to action, just to be a testimonial. We want some of them to actually be valuable so that they see it come up and they're like, you know what? I really feel like this person isn't just trying to sell me, okay? Because what we're trying to do, we never want to pitch. We always want to invite for an opportunity. And that's what we're doing during the sales sequence time, is for that 5 to 10 days, orienting, this is for you. And we're bringing the main topics of the fact that you're their person. You're the person they need to look up to, that they can trust themselves. Number one reason why somebody's not going to buy, they don't trust themselves. This will work for you. Something else might not work in the past, but if you're this person like this will work for you. Now is the time. Why wait? Right? Why wait? Why would you ever wait if you know you want to do something? And then showing them the life afterwards, right? Showing them what their vision is, bringing their reality into the creation of right now. And so then that brings us to the last 48 hours. In the last 48 hours, typically 60% of my sales come in the last 48 hours. Okay, so we want 2 to 4 times more messaging. Okay, so this is and the last 48 days, or the last 48 hours, it's the time when you're going to feel annoying, but it's going to be the time when you get the most sales. All right, so you want to accelerate your ad spend. I always go to Facebook ads and YouTube ads. I'm like, listen, I don't care what it takes. Because I have this small group of people, right? It might be 1,000 for me. It might be 1,000 people, 2,000 people, 3,000 people. I just want to show to them over and over and over and over and over again. Okay. I want to do a live stream or some type of Q&A. I want to give the ability for there to be a live chat or texting. You know, the number of people that are on the edge that just need a little bit of intimacy, need a little bit of conversation in order to be able to feel connection, in order to buy, significantly high in this time. All right. And, you know, remember, if I'm sending emails, it's not like buy now. Hey, here's what I've been thinking about you. Hey, here's 3 things you should know. Hey, even if you don't buy, I want you to have this, okay? So still valuable. The majority of your sales, and more than half of your sales typically come in the 48 hours. Just how people are, right? Now, let's say it's all done. You've had your sale. Now we want to do the downsell, all right? And the downsell needs to be one of 2 things. It needs to either be a highly relevant product that is lower cost than the first product, or a payment plan, okay? So, for example, in my last workshop, I had a $6K product and I had a $30K product, and my downsell was a $1,000 product or 12 payments of $97. Okay, and so now when I did mine, I didn't really promote it well, but I still sold. I think it ended up doing about $25,000. So I sold 250 of the $97 package. So $25,000 a month for 12 months, which was great. And so when you're doing this, what you're gonna realize is that a lot of people do a downsell and they take this random product that has nothing to do with what they're talking about and they sell it, and that's where the downsell goes really bad. Or they don't do a payment plan. And so what might, let's say, one example is you have a $1,000 product and you have a 3-part payment plan. In the downsell, you would offer a 12-part payment plan. I did that back in December of 2019, and I was doing a sale of I think it was $14.97 or $15.97. And we added an extra $35,000 a month for 12 months, still making that money today during that time by offering a 12 pay as a downsell for, I think, 2 days during that time versus 3 days. Okay, so during the time, 2 times X on organic and accelerated bid set for ads. Make sure if you're going to do this, the ads need to be approved at least 2 days before the actual downsell, or they may not actually show, and that's going to cost you sales. Another thing, there's this amazing piece of software called Connect 365. It's by my good friend Josh Turner, and you can export all the people that haven't bought and send them an email that looks like it came from your Gmail saying, hey, listen, I wanted to check in. Did you want to buy this or not? I got this amazing product. I know you didn't want the other one, but is this it? It's going to go past the promotions folder. It's going to look personal. You're going to get personal replies. I guarantee you it's going to increase the number of people that are going to buy from you. Okay, so that's a downsell sequence. And then right after the downsell sequence, that should be it for a while. Okay, that should be it. And that's one of the things, I don't like launching too many things at once, right? I want almost time in between. And if you do launches, one of the things I do enjoy the most, it's kind of like a launch every 6 to 8 weeks, right? At the maximum, right? At the maximum. It really should be every 3 months, right? And by doing it every 3 months, it allows you to build your evergreen system afterwards, but it allows you to nurture. And it allows you to post 4 times a week on organic, at least. Be able to, send emails that are just value. These are pure value. Hey, this is just the value. There's nothing else. Maybe a PS link to, book a call or this or whatever it might be. And then for at least 14 days, flood them with omnipresence, with just amazing content. Send an email. Thank you so much. Why wasn't it that you, just so I know in the future, what could I have done to make it so that you actually said, yes, I want to work with you. Right, so that's a nurturing. And then afterwards, we want to turn this evergreen, right? We want to turn this evergreen. So we turn the technology over. You don't need to do a bunch of scarcity and fake scarcity and deadline funnels and that type of stuff. What we're trying to do is just bring people into our world. But in order to do that, most of the time, if you did a launch with a challenge or a webinar, we want to put something in front of it. Maybe it's a guide, maybe it's a video, but it's something that is more the slow lane versus what we just did, which is a little bit more in the fast lane, all right? And we also want to, and this might be advanced, this might not be something you do from the get-go, but have something that's, $27, $37, $47 that's worth $500 that they get the opportunity to buy. They become a customer, you get their credit card information, you get their address, you start to build that relationship as them being a customer. And then of course you just have this going online, you link it to all your social media, you start running ads to it, and then you repeat and rinse this exact same launch campaign. You may change a little bit, right? You may shift this, shift this, shift this. A lot of people, they go and they start a brand new launch every single time. Rerun the exact same thing, because there's so many people out there that wanted it the last time, and now you have testimonials about it. Now you have momentum around it. Now you have even the ability to get affiliates from the last one, and you also have testimonies from the people that said yes. But more than anything, for your evergreen, set expectations. Typically, evergreen is going to have 1/3 to 2, or 1/3 to about a half of how well something that's live does. But here's the thing: people that are in evergreen, it's always going. It's going to be more relevant, and it's going to get more of the people that are in the fast lane to actually convert over time. And even if they don't buy right away, they are going to buy in the future when you do an actual live campaign. So that's it. That is really it. That is the playbook on launches. Now on my YouTube, I have a free video. This is all messed up now. All right, well, that's just going to be, I guess that's just going to stay messed up. I have a great video of my latest workshop. It's from May of 2020. Yeah, May of 2020. And I actually go through in about an hour exactly how my workshop worked. And this was the same model. This is exactly what I did for the workshop, okay? And so my recommendation is going, and if you can, watch that video. That's how I did the workshop. Keep in mind, that was a $95 product. So this was a product version of this. This was a paid version of this. If you don't have as big of an audience, I would probably not put a $sign in front of it. If you have a larger audience, put a $sign in front of it. $47, $95. We just did one, in Spanish. We did the workshop. We ran this. We had over 2,000. I think we had like 2,500 people sign up for that version of it. But again, we had a massive audience. We had dollars behind ad spend. But if you have, an audience of even, anything less than 25,000 people, I highly recommend doing it for free, bringing people in, giving them an amazing experience, creating that moral gap, and being able to then turn them into people that are in the fast lane and the people that are eventually going to buy from you either then or in the future. So with that said, that's how to crush your online launch. There's not many secrets in this business. There's just hard work, and there's just iteration, understanding what works, evolving it over time, and then being able to show it in front of more and more people. And if you have a good product, you're good at what you do, you have mastery, and then putting that into the world, you're going to have an amazing, amazing experience. So thank you for watching this. Thank you for consuming, my content and being able to, bring it into the world even more with whatever it is that you're selling. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.